Good evening. Welcome to Searls After Dark, a weekly-ish screencast series where I write code. We're building an application together. Today is the 10th episode, and I'm sad to say, excited to say, anxious to say, the final episode of Searls After Dark Season 1. I've learned a lot through this process, and I hope that you have too, if you've made it this far. Or if you're just hopping on now and you're probably confused. That's all right. All are welcome. I've learned a lot about like format, what makes a good one of these screencasts, especially where I'm screwing around, being a little lighthearted. As well as in terms of content, just how challenging it is to stay potent in the truth bombs that I drop with every episode when I only permit myself to write code on an application on the literal screencast. Like one thing about ChatJPN, the ChatGPT clone that helps you with language acquisition that you may not have totally noticed here is I've written literally 0 lines of code on this thing. I haven't even fixed typos except when I'm on a screencast with you. And I think for season 2, whatever form that takes and whenever it airs, I might use a different application. I might choose random projects. I might just kind of explain the problem of the day and dive in. Or I might just take this application further in my own spare time, which I would like to do because I'd like to use it and learn from it. And then pull you in just like an intermittent pair and say, hey, we're working on this today. And do the normal spelunking you do when you're tackling a feature in a larger code base that you don't really know. So there won't be this numbered convention of you having to necessarily watch them all in order. You'll be able to pop in and pop out to individual episodes as you like. Think of this as sort of like a bootstrapping season. This was not a waste of time, he said to himself, but also to the 5 of you. So that's that. That's the big news. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh yeah, we also this series, a little bit behind the magic here, is recorded against a green screen, and because I recorded against this green screen. Sorry, when I said behind the magic, I remembered I've got a stopwatch that I need to set, so I'm going to set my stopwatch and just forfeit the 4 minutes of nonsense that I just subjected you to. We're recording against the green screen. I'm all nervous now. And one of the fun things that we do on this podcast, cast video series, television show, is I always drink a different cocktail every day. And a lot of them have been green, which has been really screwy with this green screen behind me. Don't look now. So I figured, why not just continue the tradition by bringing on some Bud Light Lime. This is a classic American cocktail. And it is a light lager brewed with real lime peels and natural flavor. So let's dig in. I'm gonna pop the... Did we get it? All right. Hope you heard that. Yep. There's a half-life on cheap beer in America, and it's less than whatever I left that in the fridge for. So this is a little bit skunky. Has a real bite to it. All right. People drink that on purpose, so here we go. Let's see. So we got some follow-up. RailsConf was a huge success. Hopefully we'll have video up on the Test Double channel soon. That's at Test Double is the YouTube handle there. And we'll be able to show you what it was like to vote on rules about how to do your Ruby in a group. Spoiler alert, it was chaotic, but it was fun because everyone got some free merch. So everyone got a little rejected banner, and then of course I'm going to commit another green screen faux pas and accepted we didn't know what to call these, like auction paddles. Effectively, like everyone in the crowd would raise their little paddle and vote that way, and then we would kind of take a floor vote and just kind of eyeball it. It was a lot of fun. It was a silly time. But time marches on. That's the past. Looking at the future. Ruby Kaigi 2023, May 11th to May 13th. This is in Matsumoto, Japan. It's a city where I've been fortunate to have visited before. It's one of the last remaining original castles in Japan, so that's kind of its claim to fame. Also surrounded by a lot of beautiful mountains in Nagano. So if you remember those Olympics from the 90s, it's over there. And I'm going to go, and I may have mentioned this on a previous episode, but I'm going to go as a field reporter for Test Double. I'm going to just show up, and I'm going to record, well, probably interviews. I don't know to what extent I'll be allowed to record audio and video and pictures inside the conference because, privacy is important. But I'm going to track, like, travel log, like pictures and video of the experience and try to find like interesting morsels of content. But most importantly, summarize all of the cool Ruby stuff that happens at RubyKaigi that doesn't normally make it out of Japan to explain to everyone else, like, here's what we can look forward to in Ruby 3.3 when it releases on Christmas Day in 2023, the current year. So anyway, I'm doing that. If you would like to follow me along on this journey, you can visit us at testdouble.com/field and sign up here with your email address. You can also, if you want to, subscribe to Test Double's newsletter here. And if you do this, we'll send you at least one email saying, hey, the live blog is up. And we may send you a couple follow-up emails to say, hey, there's some more significant content on the live blog if you want to go check in on that again. No other kind of tracky spyware nonsense here. Okay, so I think that covers over all of our must-do items. So moving right along, what are we going to do today? We're going to explore the second leg of the stool, of the three-legged stool that is hotwired. Turbo is what we played with last week, to use turbo streams to inject a little bit of HTML on the page. Stimulus is the JavaScript framework library, more like library, thingy-majigger for Rails applications that kind of do the server-side rendered, one true path through an application. And I don't know how to describe Stimulus except to say, like, it's JavaScript sprinkles, but very well thought out JavaScript sprinkles with just enough hooks into Rails rendering to make it feel pretty seamless. Like, one way to look at it is if you use React for like rendering and then also handling all of the interactivity on a web page, this and that's the same job that Backbone was doing and all of the other things between Backbone and React and sort of popular JavaScript framework parlance. They were rendering a lot of HTML to the client, and that is what made it hard to track state. Stimulus says, like, let's go with the tug of war rope and says, no, Rails server-side HTML is going to be rendered with ERB. That can be transferred over the wire, again, with turbo streams. All this JavaScript is doing is like a little bit of JavaScript sprinkle dynamism to handle interactivity, user events, functionality that can only be done with JavaScript, like copying to clipboard. That's it. And I've done this on a couple projects now, and I've had a really good success with it. Now, it doesn't cover every single use case, but it definitely increases the number of applications that don't need server or client-side rendered HTML. Because as soon as you introduce that, then you got this balancing act of state between the server and the client. And that's where 80% of JavaScript apps go to die. And you can quote me on that. Third leg of the stool, Strata has been like, will come out this year for the last several years. And it's got to do with like native apps and stuff. I don't know. All right, so we're going to take a look at the setup here. All of this setup is JavaScript only. It doesn't assume that you're going to use Rails. It works without Rails, but it's nicer when you do use Rails, like so many things are. And you basically, it uses a lot of data attributes to set the controller name over the thing. Then you have targets, which are things that important elements on the DOM that you need to interact with. You have actions, which are, usually emitted by like anchor tags and buttons, at least when they're in the DOM. And then values as well, and the values aren't covered in this little simple example, but values can be bound to them too. All right, so without further ado, let's pop over into ChatJPN. So here we are in our application. We're going to start up our server. Hope everything works still. Neat. Okay, so we're going to close out all this stuff. Localhost 3000. We're going to pull up this window so it's visible. All right. So what I'd like to do, if I'm thinking about like what's the first stimulus-y thing that I would like to do, you may recall that every time I type something like, tell me a story, it's going to write in, but it doesn't like scroll me back down to the bottom. And so stuff will just write to the bottom of the chat window and I don't see it. So I was scrolling with my scroll wheel there, so it wasn't a good way to say it. If I just type now, like, what is 1 plus 1? And I hit enter. First of all, it does a refresh. That's something else we should look at, but we can do the stimulus thing first. Well, maybe we can. Cool. So it's doing the refresh. We probably do need to resolve that. It shouldn't be refreshing the whole page. Even if it's using turbo, what that means is it's probably a turbo frame over the body tag and it's sucking out the whole body tag, and we don't want to do quite that much. Maybe we set it up like a turbo stream, similar to how we set this up. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But most importantly, we want to make sure that we are scrolling down dynamically with JavaScript upon connection. So there's a hacky way to do that with stimulus, and I think it's going to end up taking us to the same spot, whether we start with the turbo side or start with the stimulus side. But like this is a one-time only performance because I have to go to Japan in like a day. So because I'm going to be on a flight, I don't have like another night this week to do this, and I don't have all this fancy rigorous rig in the rigmarole of key lights and multiple monitors and fancy camera and all that jazz. So tonight is it. If this sucks and we have a bad time, then I don't know. Blame me, I guess. Cheers. Cheers to this beer that you probably can't see because of green screen. I like it more than the 0% 0 calorie Kirin All-Free. Suntory All-Free. Okay, let's stop stalling. Come on, man. Get to the code. I'm a coder. Where does the JavaScript live? The JavaScript lives first and foremost in application.js. If you look at the package.json, again, thinking outside in terms of like, where's all this stuff defined? We've got turbo stimulus is loaded in here. And we've got a gem file that also pulls in stimulus Rails, which handles the bindings for the Rails side. Both of these might be slightly out of date because I haven't looked at them. Like, we've been doing this for 2 months now, so they may have a patch release or something, but we'll just keep it as is for the moment, rather than fight with updates. But you can see here, application.js as generated by Rails new will pull in turbo Rails, and then it'll load controllers. Controllers are the names of the kind of the main thing that we do with stimulus. It creates this hello controller, which I don't love because it's not real. Does it wire it up to anything? Yes, it does. So controllers here has an index.js file. So again, if you're not familiar with imports, when it imports ./controllers, it's going to look at the controllers folder right here and then pull in index.js. So this is auto-generated originally by bin Rails stimulus manifest update. Run this whenever you add a new controller. Whoa! Either that's new or I just nuked that comment and then I've been manually writing in controllers all this time in all my other applications, which I don't really have a problem with, to be totally honest. But okay, sure. Or create them with controller name. And apparently wants camel case. So many casings, right? Because like we use camel case for JavaScript, but we still use Pascal case for JavaScript classes. But we use snake case for files because it's Ruby. I don't know, man. Like I just work here. Not often. But we got this hello controller as is. And I don't want a hello controller. I want a scroll down controller. Yeah, let's call it the scroll to bottom controller. Just like Rails controllers, they are in a folder called controller, and their file name has controller, and then this thing has a controller. And we could export default class. We could also it might help you if you're using TypeScript or if you're using if your editor will complete jump to definition. Like we could also say instead of anonymously just say class, we could say scroll to bottom controller. But that is also more typing. So let's not do that. We can, rather than do this .element stuff, we can just say console.log connected. Yay. Okay. And then when you look at that index.js, let's give this a shot. Bin Rails stimulus manifest update. That's a command I'm going to remember for never. Okay, open up a new terminal. Run that. Okay. It looks like it did a thing. Scroll to bottom controller, scroll to bottom controller, scroll to bottom. I kind of like that. Okay, so we've got that figured out. Now, anywhere in our application, we can attach the controller by adding that data controller attribute. Where do we want to do that? Probably somewhere in view, chat, show. Okay, so maybe here. Now, because this is just a raw HTML, we can say scroll. Oh, what did it register as? Okay, so it uses the other case. Good Lord. All right, so we've already seen camel case, kebab case, that's kebab case, Pascal case, and snake case. All the whole family's here. How does anyone keep this shit straight? No wonder Rails is so confusing. We should just pick one. You know what? Let's just do what the Japanese do and have no spaces between our words and just like have a well, Germans too, for nouns anyway, just joining them all together into one thing. Because boy, keeping this straight. By the way, a very fun natural language processing school, if you're interested in should languages have spaces between the words, is like the CGK Chinese, Japanese, Korean languages don't. And so even just tokenizing a sentence is like an NP hard problem that requires a dictionary to do it all efficiently. And so like universities like publish stuff. There's a library, a GPL library called MeCab. And then there's more modern stuff as well in the pre-AI era that will take a sentence and just try to tokenize and like literally answer the question, what are the words in the sentence? Because without spaces, imagine like that's pretty freaking hard to figure out. So anyway, all right. So I just talked myself back into the kebab, Pascal, camel, snake casing dystopia. Because that is indeed better than having to run an algorithm through every single thing. Breaths. Not growing on me. All right, let's see if it does the console output. So we're going to open up the console here. Make sure we're showing all connected. Cool. And it also did the hello world thing for some reason. Did I not delete that line? I did not delete that line, so that would explain that. Refresh. Cool. So it has done that. I could just add here. Again, of course, I'm not a good programmer, so I don't know. Windows scroll to bottom, like or scroll to on a div. Element scroll to. Thanks, MDN. Very minimalist. Front End Masters. That's Mark Grabansky's business. Mark is a very nice guy, lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I did a Front End Masters once, but it was in CoffeeScript, and I did it the day after CoffeeScript's last day. And I didn't get the memo, and people got mad because it was CoffeeScript. But also, like, I just didn't do a great job. It was like a workshop format. I was all over the place. People weren't ready for it. I was like dropping a whole lot of like really advanced testing stuff. Frankly, I feel badly still. I think that Mark's great. Check out Front End Masters if you want to know more about the front end. Then I am going to teach you here. La 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 la. All right. So instead of element, it's this dot element that just happens to be the name of the thing on this. Scroll to. Is there a scroll to bottom? Oh, okay. So I can do just top and left, huh? Let's bring in our AI assistant. Well, I guess we got Copilot. What we could say here is let's say scroll to bottom of element. There we go. Boom. Thanks, Copilot. Just doing very basic tasks. It's the best at. So we're going to say scroll to bottom of element. It even did this dot for me. It was fast enough. Boy, I feel like Copilot's gotten faster at response times. Don't trust me, I'm stalling. Okay, so that printed connected. So let's check that server. Oh, See? So when the server continued to print out the old console log, oh, this comma is unnecessary. It wasn't building the JavaScript. Oh man, that's a bad error. It didn't give me any warning whatsoever that my JavaScript wasn't compiling. Okay, cool. That worked. I am not scroll to the bottom. Oh wait, it's doing something though, isn't it? All right, let's see real quick. Where am I? Oh, I probably want to scroll to the bottom of this. Let's try moving the controller down to skosh. I think skosh might be a Minnesotan thing. Speaking of Minnesotan. No, skosh is a Japanese loanword, actually. I learned that much later than I. Aha, okay, cool. So look, refresh the page, and I get smooth scrolling to the bottom. I actually don't know that I want it to be smooth. I can just say behavior. The rural juror. All right. I will. Oh, and I don't have standard plugged in apparently. I normally use standard for all my JavaScript, so that should just work. Okay, so that works. Same kind of shorthand that eventually came to Ruby. Okay. Now, so that's when it's connected. Anytime that this DOM gets appended to, anything gets mutated on this DOM, I want to listen for that and scroll to bottom again, so long as I'm currently scrolled to bottom. Does that make sense? And will I be able to test it? So let's say hello. So stuff is getting appended. It's not scrolling to bottom. So I want to do, I want to observe mutations. This is probably in the stimulus handbook. Or at least enough to kind of get us a reference, callback, target connected, target disconnected. Is this new? When were outlets added? I don't remember this at all. Huh. Yeah, this seems new. Okay, now I gotta know. Sorry. Everyone, you're taking the back seat. Thank you. Get Google. Who's working on this? John? Changelog. You got one of them? Yep. There. Yeah, 3.2. Damn, Marco. This is sweet. So previously, there'd been no way to connect two controllers together and have them communicate, and this is it. So you don't know that you're glad that this is here yet, but it's the other ways of doing this were very hacky. This bud's for you, Marco. I don't know Marco. I don't know Jean. They don't watch this show. I care more about you. All right. So I'm not finding what I want. Stimulus on mutation event. Mutation observer. Yes. Did I just miss it? What? Target connected, sure. All right, so let's stick with this for a second. Stimulus uses another use mutation. Okay, sure. I don't want to pull in this just yet. It's a cool library, but I just don't want to deal with it just yet. Nope, don't care about that. Stimulus on element appended. It's not a target. I've read this post before. I feel like I've met Ben before. Yeah, I don't want to create all these targets necessarily. Okay, so values, yes. When a value changes, sure. That's one thing you can do. I don't want to create everything target. It's certainly one way to do it. When I stream, I think I'm just streaming text. I can check that here. Yeah, I'm only appending text inside. Oh, well, let's back up and think of what's the JavaScript way to do it. Of course, observe it. Which is why I was just like, I'm being impatient. So do I call observe? If I'm doing it this way. Who do I call observe on? Do I create a mutation observer? Yeah, I do. Okay. Does it mix it in? All right, I'm going to create a debugger here and just see what's on this freaking thing. So here's another thing I do a lot is when I'm impatient and I'm on camera, I don't want to feel dumb, but here I am anyway, feeling dumb. Should have caught that debugger, no? Oh, is this another compilation error that's not being... Damn it. Ah, shoot. Yeah, I forgot JavaScript, everybody. This is my bad. I'm writing this like it's Ruby. This should be in an objecty dingus, I think. Expected identifier, but okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make it all smooth. Doesn't matter. This is immaterial. I was getting fancy, like I remembered how to write Java. I have not written JavaScript in earnest for a year. So I probably should have prepped a little bit more. Okay, that worked. Cool. Now our debugger will catch. There it is. So we're gonna go. Of course, the script is gonna be in the part of the screen where you can't see it. All right, here we are. It has outlets. What does it? Not a lot. Outlet binding. Don't know. Give up. We're gonna create a new one. We'll do it in connect for now. This connect happens after everything else. Come on, back to it. Sorry, I know this is really exciting stuff. Okay, we're gonna create when observer is. Don't care about that, right? Just copy paste this. Say this dot element. Figure this out later. This is not a stimulus tutorial. This is a Justin gets shit done. I don't know, figures it out. Subtree true. We also need to, and this is why I feel like we probably have to do this anyway, because like whatever their defaults are, it's not going to include this character data. Subtree true, child is true. And then observer on. Oh, we really do have to use the callback. It's kind of out of order in terms of how I feel about it, but whatever. Console.log. Thing happened, yo chief. Does it get arguments? It gets a mutation list. Okay. One would hope. But it's going to refresh the page. But it won't on the reply from the AI. Also, why isn't the JavaScript like? I don't trust it now. Like if it's compiling, I'll say hi again. Cool. This happened. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. To the target text. I don't really care about the thing. I just care that I scroll to the bottom. So let's start with that. In fact, I can literally replace this with just a reference to this dot scroll to bottom. Although that won't wrap this. Nope. This dot scroll. Yeah. Try that again, refresh the page. See if this does it. Yep. So as it was typing at me, it came at me. What I really want to do is scroll to the bottom if I'm already at the bottom, but if the person scrolled up, don't scroll to the bottom. So that's actually probably right. Well, except for that. Well, I guess it. No, it's wrong. This is Ruby again. We're going to try that and see if Copilot's right. Okay. So it stopped doing it. It kept doing it. Okay. I wait for the magic to happen. Darn. All right, was hoping someone would do some work for me. No. Return if this dot is the user scroll at the bottom of the element. Here we go. We're having fun. This is fun here. If they're scrolled to the bottom, I don't. Oh, of course that's not. I did it again. I am way out of JavaScript practice is what I'm learning. And also like it's just like really difficult for me to code while I'm talking at a screen, which is like, yeah, odd career choice, Justin. What are you doing? Give me, I don't know why it's telling me Bing AI. To determine if speaking of things that don't scroll down, am I right? No. Scroll height and scroll top. I don't know if that's what Copilot gave me, but like I'm willing to roll with that. So I'll just change that to this dot element. See if it likes it. Try that on for size. I'll give it a long thing. Nah. Hmm. fact that we're only editing these let's try this. Yep, scroll height, scroll top, client height. Yep, it figured out what I wanted to log. That's nice at least. Try that again. Got some different answers here over in the console. I'm going to clear that out. Yeah, something's not. Oh, wait. If not. Wait. Yeah, if it's not already scrolled to the bottom, then return. If not force and this. So then I can say false, don't force it. And this one I can say true, do false, force it. That's closer, right? So I wasn't really thinking through what I wanted. First load, I want to force a scroll to the bottom. Every subsequent thing that happens, I don't want to force it. Again, until we get the stream stuff set up. Okay, so here I'm scrolled to the bottom. Story. But then it didn't do it. What if it's... And that's because it started streaming to the element. We got called back after shit had already gone on the element. So it's never at the bottom, basically. I could do it like if it's close, right? Then scooch it down. Is there another way to get that information without saving it off as a value or something? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I just say, I'm not thinking super clearly here. You couldn't hear it, but there's something in my closet. I've got a closet full of crap over there, and there's something beeping. It beeps every 2 hours, and I don't know what it is. And I'm kind of just hoping that the battery dies before I have to go and dig through all my shit. Yeah, so I could like teach you some stimulus and like make a value and track that value. Care. If it's close, it's fine. I do care. All right. Static values equals. Okay, so not connect, but rather So what do I need? The scroll height will have changed. The old scroll top will have changed. Yeah, what would I even store here? And when would I update that? No, that's stupid. Let's just say if it's close. I don't know. I forget what all these numbers are. I'm just gonna take the absolute value of this subtraction and say, is it less than 50, 40, sure. Sure, I'll settle for 40 since I accidentally typed that value. Tell me that. Okay, but it does force me if I scroll just. I don't know. I've seen worse solutions to stupid problems. This is a mess. I will come through and clean this up. Season finale stuff, I don't have to worry so much about getting a lot of stuff done. So anyway, let's start over. So we're just gonna do just gonna refresh this page. We're at the bottom of the page. Refresh the page. We're at the bottom of the page. Okay, so it's gonna tell me we're in AI. I'm gonna scroll up. I escape the refreshing whilst letters come in. Sure. So that roughly works. I still, that like refresh of content though, when the form loads is really frustrating. So let's say chat show. Where's the form? Is this the form? Yeah, I guess this is the. We're coming up on time. Form width and turbo frame. Sean Doyle, friend from Thoughtbot, another great Ruby consultancy. Similar to Testable. Frame, just give me the frame stuff. Okay. So it's just weird to be setting a form method and all that and form action on a button. Can I just do data? And is it called a frame ID? Is that the thing? Turbo frame. Right. Doing plain old HTML for now. Low confidence is going to do anything. It seems weird. Oh, wow. It seemed to have done something. All right, cool. So I refresh the page. Refresh the page. Scroll to the bottom of the page. Well, sort of. Scroll to the bottom of that. We got this dingle-de-dongus. Oh, I didn't close the turbo frame. I closed div. It's probably related. Okay, cool. Is it more than 40 pixels, you think? Is that my problem? Did I just set up all this other crap unnecessarily? Let's make this 300 or something, just to make sure. Okay, yeah, the 40 pixels did screw me up. Okay, well, neat. That was actually strangely fast. So if I just tell the form, hey, your turbo frame is messages, and it renders to a turbo frame messages, then it doesn't change out everything in the DOM, and then the stimulus thing still remains connected. Okay, so like usual in the last 2 minutes of this show, everything just suddenly works, even though I did a terrible job explaining everything. You're super confused. You're going to go back and you're going to be like, I'm going to look at the transcript or figure out where to rewind here, but the show notes don't tell me I don't know, man. Just hanging out, just writing some code. You're not alone. We're in this together, etc. Remember to sign up for my field report from Ruby Kaigi at testdouble.com/field. And of course, tell me what you thought about season 1. What kind of stuff you'd like to see in season 2 in terms of format, content, stuff we'd cover, and so forth. And you can do that, of course, at our one and only email address, which is lets@playstupid.games. Thank you. You've been a lot of fun, and it's been a real pleasure to be able to share a little bit of how I work with y'all, even though it hasn't been entirely impressive stuff. I'm not sure I'd put this on my resume. I definitely wouldn't put Bud Light Lime on my resume. And I think on that note, I'll say good night and see ya next time. Yeah.